My name is Gary Featherstone. I am the owner of the Homeless Enterprise. Today I want to explain to you some different things that have occurred since the Los Angeles Sheriff Department has been in Venice. I'm going to start with some incidents involving some of the homeless people here, just to give you a pattern of what's going on.
I guess if you want, what happened to me the other day with the police?
Yeah.
I was just sitting there, I was sewing my pillow back together, minding my own business in my front, like in my front yard, I guess you could say, front parking lot. And I was just sewing the pillow, and I got jumped by the police because they thought I was like some kind of like drug kingpin or something, and raided my whole home, trashed everything, over $5 worth of dope, when apparently they were, for no reason, just off a hunch. And then while they were doing that, I lost my guitar in the process. There's even a video of them handing it out to someone on the side of the road.
They gave your guitar to somebody else?
Yeah, I have a video of it. And,
okay, when they jumped you, was there any reason why they jumped you?
I have no idea why they did that to me. For real, there's a video of the whole thing. I was sitting there sewing my pillow together, and apparently I was supposed to have like all these drugs and everything, and
They hadn't seen no drugs yet though?
No.
They just jumped you first?
Yeah, they violated like all my rights.
Okay, you remember what day this happened on?
Approximately 2 weeks ago. I can get the actual date for you if I got my paperwork.
What happened to you since then?
I had a stroke. Like after losing my guitar, is basically, you know, how I deal with my emotional health. That stress put me it gave me a stroke because I couldn't deal with my emotional problems, because that was my medicine. It really hurt me bad, and I really wish they would have just not left me alone, or at least, you know, done things properly, if anything.
So let me make this clear. They got out of their car and jumped you first.
Yeah, no questions. They just manhandled me.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot, Brandon.
No problem, brother.
All right. Now, I got one more. I got another guy. Be back in a minute. But in the meantime, I need to show you where mine happened. Mine happened 2 blocks away. All right, this is Gary Featherstone again. This incident occurred on July 22nd. This is what occurred. I was parked right here, talking to a friend of mine. 5 minutes, I left. I proceeded westbound, down Vernon. When I got to the corner, I spotted one of the police's spotter cars, sitting just north of the stop sign. I proceeded to go past 7th Street. When I got in the middle of the block, a black car backed out of a driveway and blocked my path. Jumped out, police officers. By that time, another squad car started coming down. There was sirens on in the back. They snatched me out of my car, put me in handcuffs, and put me in the back of their car. The sergeant directed another officer to drive my car down to this location. And he parked my car right here. He opened the back door and he asked me, who lives at 740 Vernon? I told him my cousin do. He said, you don't live here? I said, no, I don't. He said, why do you go here? I said, sometimes I go to put water in my buckets to take over to my place. Sometimes I cut her lawn. Sometimes I go there to eat. Sometimes I go there to shower. I've never spent one night in this house. This is not my house. He said, well, we're going to kick the door in anyway. So they proceeded in the yard. Keep in mind, my cousin is at work. They proceeded in this yard. It was about a total of about 17 of them. They kicked this door in. You can see the damage. I don't know if you can see this, where they hit it with the battering ram. Hit it here and here.
Got it.
Okay. They went in. They searched the place for about an hour. They went all around here. Searched the place. They went on the side of the house while I'm making a 3-wheel bike. They turned it over and destroyed that. Here's a 3-wheel bike right here that I've been working on. They turned it up and did it like that.
Yeah, let me get a closer shot of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go. Okay.
I don't even know what they did to the garage, but I'm pretty sure they forced that open too. Yeah, they did. Tore the lock off of this. Then they came back out, called another police agency and ordered a dog, canine dog. They took the canine dog, sent him in the house. He was in the house about 20 or 30 minutes. Then they sent the canine dog around the house and all of that. By that time, my cousin had came home and asked him why were they in our house. The police told her it had something to do with me. I don't live here. I've never brought nobody here. So how they got probable cause to get a search warrant is beyond me. By that time, I was still in the car. They loaded up all the cars, took me all back around to my place of business. That's where we need to go now. It says, you are therefore commanded to search the following location. Blue, white, and tan canopy tent located just north of the first telephone pole, located on the east curb of 3rd Avenue, south of Rose Avenue, Venice, California, 90291 in the county of Los Angeles. There is a green canopy, there's a green Los Angeles City deposit type box just to the north of the tent. There is a blue tarp on the north side of the canopy tent that runs length of the north side of the tent. Inside the tent is a recliner type chair that is used by Gary Featherstone, 11/23/1955. Okay. This search warrant gives them permission to search that tent. Okay. They brought me over here and left me in the squad car. They searched that tent. They put a dog in that tent. They found nothing. Then they proceeded down along this wall into this tent. Into this tent that has another tent on the other side, and went through this tent.
Got it.
Now, from my understanding, they claim that they found a bottle of PCP behind this table. I have no idea. But I know it wasn't in that tent. Which is the only authorization they had is to go in that tent. Not this area, not that tent. Now here's the thing. According to the news, they say they found $15,000 worth of PCP. That's bullshit. What they did is took the money off of me, which was more than $15,000. I had $7,500 from Wells Fargo Bank. I won $8,600 from Hollywood Park blackjack. Jackpot. They just said they found that much dope because they had my money. I have legal receipts for my money. They know it because this is not the first time that they stopped me with this money. A couple weeks ago, they stopped me in the hardware parking lot, drove up on me, put my hands on the car and searched me for no probable cause, no reason at all. The sergeant came. The sergeant told me that the reason I stumbled into a narcotics investigation. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing. They had no probable cause to stop me, search me, or search my car. I filed a complaint. When I filed the complaint, this is what happens. This is the second thing. How are the police going to say they found $15,000 worth of methamphetamine and let me go? They booked me, cited me, and let me go. Here's the problem. The sheriff who was in trouble for re-election, decided to try to make him some points by sending his people out here to tackle the homeless problem. But the problem that they've created, every time they arrest somebody, it's illegal. The probable cause rights have been violated. There's about 6 or 7 of them like that. This guy's name is Russell. He works for Urban Acme. He's another one that the police falsely arrested. I'd like him to tell you a story.
Go for it, Russ.
On the day that they arrested, what were you doing?
I was sitting here cleaning up the bathrooms, cleaning up the street, around the area. I was keeping it clean and swept and just physically doing my job.
And what happened?
And all of a sudden, like about, I think it was around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, the sheriffs, I don't know if they're Marina Del Rey or something around here, they pulled up, they walked straight to, they passed by like about 3 or 4 times, just going back and forth. Then they stopped a little over here, like about at least 30 feet, and just walked straight up to me, grabbed me by the hand, put my hands behind my back, and said, "Your car's not registered." I told them I just bought it and paid for it, not the whole thing, but they still said it's not registered as a regular car, and I told them I bought it from CarMax. They told me it wasn't there. I mean, it wasn't registered with them. So they got me by the hand. By that time, I was already in the car, sitting there. They chased everybody away, so nobody can hear what was going on, or they could ultimately see what's going on, but they couldn't hear because they told them to leave. One go that way, one go the other way, and threatened them, and turned around and told me, well, when this car comes back registered, then we can work with that. As soon as I sat in the car, she put they did the license plate, and it came back, Russell Zayas, my name. And then he said, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I find anything in that car, I'm taking it.
This is after they found out the car was registered?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they continued to come over here, and some of the stuff that was in my car, they pulled out of my car and said they're looking for whatever there may be. So he turns around and gets my stuff, pulls it outside my personal property, which I live homeless from place to place. I live in a tent right here. Well, after it was registered, when I was sitting down, I said, see, he goes, well, okay, well, I'm gonna go in there anyways, I'm gonna take a look. When he walks up, he sees certain things that are right here on the floor, maybe paraphernalia, which I swept up. I was getting ready to put away, throw in the trash. He walks up and he finds the bag on the floor, and he goes, voila! I look at him, whatever, you gotta do what you're gonna do. So he gets it, walks over, and says, there's a little bit of substance here. No, you found it outside. And he turned around and he goes, no, I found it in the car. I said, okay, well, whatever you find is what you put there. I go, you should have your cameras on, right? And they didn't answer nothing, they didn't say nothing. They just went about their business. I kept quiet, left it alone. I told one of the guys that lived here, which he has a nickname, but I'll leave that out of it. I called him over and told him, keep an eye on my stuff for me. Call Gary and tell him to take my stuff with him. So he can overlook my stuff and wait to see what's gonna happen. So I told him, what's it gonna take for me to get out? Am I gonna get cited out or bailed out? And she turned around and said, you'll probably be cited out. I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm taking you over to Marina Del Rey. We're sheriffs. We can do what we want. We're sheriffs and we can do what we want to do. And they continue to lock my car. They took my money, which was, I had $700. I just borrowed $400. I had $300 in my wallet. Well, the $300 got over there, and they didn't find it for like 2 or 3 days. Then when I called them up. They said they got my money. My money's there. All I have to do is sign for it and take it out, which they could have gave me that same night. So I continued to badger them. Where's my stuff at? I ultimately just left it alone. If they want that money that bad, they can have it. You know, they can't say I didn't donate or anything. But I'm gonna go now or some other time to get my money. But when I came back, most of my stuff, a lot of my stuff was missing. But whatever Gary held for me,
what they left on the ground, all of his property. I picked his property up and took it and put it in my tent till he got out.
Right.
But they just left his property abandoned on the middle of the street.
Exactly.
I called the watch sergeant and told the watch sergeant about it. He said he would look into it. Evidently he didn't.
And then he got mad. The cops got mad at me, and I said, well, I got people there. We care about each other. We help each other out. We care. Not everyone's bad. Not everyone's good. But we all take care of each other in feeding ourselves, helping each other out in the things that we do. And that's about it. but they couldn't find my money. They couldn't find my money. They finally found it. Now I have to go over there if I get someone to show me over there. When I came out, I talked to the watch sergeant, but I heard them arguing in the back, the watch sergeant with the other sheriff, and not well with the sheriff, and they said, we're doing your job. You know what they meant by that? We're doing your job. I guess that day he was supposed to be somewhere else, or he's out there just busting anybody they can do it. Which they said, we can do what we want to do. We're sheriffs. So I ended up getting out of jail. Gary ended up coming over. I called him up. He came pick me up, brought me back to the location where I stay at, and it's been okay since then. And most of the people here are just people living life, and they just bust them, take them in, hoping someone will crack, or somebody will say something, or somebody will say something that is not ultimately happening here. We have a donation place in which we receive. We get food here for the people. There's certain services that they give out food and clothing and everything. And for someone trying to change their life, it's kind of hard when someone else is trying to bring you down. You know. So, but I leave it with this: that if I have to get a lawyer, I get a lawyer. But I don't think I will. I don't think I'll have to. But we'll see what happens. The car they found out was already registered with CarMax. I had just paid the money on it, pulled it out. I left my house, and I ended up not leaving my house. It was never mine. It was a house that I was staying at, which they were gonna sell it, but it didn't happen. So I ended up back homeless again. You know, I'd rather be homeless than squatting. Squatting's good, but that's illegal.
All right. The other problem I got is what they do with people's property. When they took me in, I asked them to count my money in front of me, give me a receipt for it, and have the supervisor sign for it. They refused. They said, the only thing we're going to do is stuff your money inside of a Ziploc bag and zip it shut. You know, now when I go to get my money, how am I going to know how much money I had and how much money they're going to know I had if they refuse to count it in front of me? This is the game that the sheriff department plays. They violated everybody's probable cause rights to just jump out and grab you with no probable cause at all. Exactly what they did to me, exactly what they did to my cousin's house. How they got that bare bones search warrant? My cousin has worked for this county for 40 years, never violated a law in her life. Because somebody see me in her yard does not give them a right to go get a search warrant and tear her house up. They destroyed my car. I want to show you that right now. Tore my toolbox up, tore this paneling out of here.
You're gonna be okay, Mr. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
Show you what they did to look what they did to my gear. They snatched all the plastic pieces off of here. I have no idea where they're at. They snatched all the plastic pieces off of there, that handle. They just pretty much demolished my car. The problem with the sheriff's department is that they are grabbing people, snatching people without probable cause, putting them in cars and searching their car. That's illegal. They got so mad at me for filing a complaint against them that they wouldn't got somebody to sign them a bare bones search warrant to search a house that they don't even know who lives there. The warrant didn't even have the owner's name on the house. And the only reason they said they got the warrant is because they seen me in the yard. You know, what they're trying to do now, because some of my mail goes there, they took the pink slip to my car and a check, which they're going to try to use that make it look like I live there because I get mail there. I've never spent a night in that house in my life, and I have proof of that. But the problem is the sheriff department is running rapid, doing what they want to do, with no checks and balances at all. Probably with the sheriff's blessing because he's trying to win re-election. There's nowhere in the world that any officer should be able to jump out of a car and grab anybody and take them into custody without probable cause. And once you take a look at these bare bones search warrants, I just don't know what judge in his right mind signed them. They had a search warrant specifically for that tent. They described that tent to a T. But instead of limiting their search to that tent, they went all down the line. Through that tent, through the other side, behind all of this stuff, where they supposedly found $15,000 worth of PCP. I can guarantee fucking you, There's no fucking $15,000. They're lying. What they did is use my money, which was over $15,000, to try to make it look like they found $15 worth of PCP. They're lying. If anybody asked them to show it, they couldn't show it to you. I have one other incident how this got started. I was on Lincoln and Palms at the hardware store with two other gentlemen fixing on a generator. When Deputy Rojas and Deputy Leora pulled up, he walked up to us and said, "What are you doing?" I looked at him and said, "We're fixing the generator." He said, "Okay, gentlemen, I'm gonna need you to put your hands on my car, on the hood of my car." I said, "For what?" He said, "I'm gonna search you." I said, "No, you're not. You don't have a right to search me. I'm not on probation or parole." He said, "Well, put your hands on the car." I put my hands on the car. He went through my pockets. He took my money out, my keys out, my wallet out. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm having a burglary investigation. I'm looking for burglary tools." Proceeded to put me in the back of his car. I told him to call the supervisor. When the supervisor got there, I told the supervisor. That supervisor didn't want to take care of it. He said, "Well, I'm going to call another supervisor and have the sergeant from narcotics come out." Well, she came out. She comes to the car, and this is what she said. "I'm going to be up front with you. This is a high narcotics area, and you stumbled into a narcotics area." I said, "Did you have it under surveillance?" She said, "Yes." I said, "What was I doing?" She said, "You were fixing on the generator." Well, why in the fuck are you searching me? If all I'm doing is fixing on the generator, why are you searching me? Even after that, they searched my car, trashed it. Even after that, with no probable cause or nothing, then let me go. This is going on every single day with the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department. You know, we don't sell drugs here. We don't.
You want to explain what you guys do?
Huh?
You want to explain what you guys do?
We feed the homeless every day, man. Every day. There's those that don't want us here, who are sicking the police on us, but we're not going anywhere. I'm never going nowhere. I live here. The problem is you can't do nothing without probable cause. You know, how they got these warrants, that warrant just got this. Did you, look, man, listen to this. Swears under the oath, facts expressed by him, the people of the state of California and the sheriff, police officer, peace officer in the county. Proof of affidavit hadn't been made before, but Detective Amaro, there's probable cause to believe that the property described herein may be found at the location set forth. There is no property described here. They don't say they're looking for narcotics. They don't say they're looking for bogus checks. The judge just gave them a blank piece of fucking paper to go look for what they want to look for. Oh, no place on this paper. Here you go. And to seize if found, bring forth before this court, the court officer of this court, this search warrant and incorporated affidavit was sworn to be true and subscribed before me this 22nd day of July 2021. Now what they did is this. This is the best trick the police got. If you can see this down there, it says Hobbs attachment. It says Hobbs ceiling granted. What this means is that the police are telling the judge, we have an informant. And if this informant's name becomes known, something's going to happen to him. So we want you to seal it permanently so nobody can ever see this. The problem with this is, he can just say that. He can just tell the judge he's got a confidential informant. Judge doesn't know if he's got a confidential informant because he didn't take him to the judge. So he got the judge to seal this with some fictitious name. And this is how they get away with it every day. Because when you go to court to challenge this warrant, the first judge is going to tell you this is sealed. The only way that I can give you this name is that you have to prove that this man is lying. And this is how they get away with the game every day. You know, a search warrant is supposed to be authorized by a judge to go look for a specific item or items. This has no specific items on it at all. Neither does a search warrant on Vernon. It's just a bare bones search report, search warrant. How they got this, I have no idea. My cousin's name is not even, and she owns the house. So I want everybody to know before you start having judgments, wait till the outcome of this case. That $15,000 worth of PCP, you'll never see it unless they manufacture it. That is the only thing. They went over there and searched that house, found nothing. You search my tent, you found nothing. You go search everything else and you find something, then you give it to me. It won't stand up in the court of law. All I'm saying, the citizens of Venice need to be aware of the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department, because the sheriff has these guys out there doing something to try to make itself look good. Thank you.